Well, Mother Nature is taking center stage. Act 1, the understudy, getting a shot at bringing snow to the Great Lakes, Ohio Valley, and maybe a smidge into the Mid-Atlantic. And waiting in the wings is Maya, the star of the show, revving up to hit the west with snow and Arctic air, and then sashay all the way to the East Coast. Jen.
But no autographs. The intermissions are going to be short. Act 3, clobbering the South with heavy rain, and we'll pinpoint just how long the soggy show will last. It's all right now on AMHQ.
Hey, happy Friday to you. I'm meteorologist Stephanie Abrams alongside meteorologist Jen Carfagno and Reynolds Wolf. And we're hoping for a packed house, as this weekend Mother Nature is going to put on a show. But right now, Lucian's still performing strong, Jen, as it pushes through the Northeast.
Yeah, a heavy rain. Lucian is unloading a heavy rain across the Ohio River Valley, and this rain has sent the Maumee River in Ohio over its banks, spilling out across Sidecut Metro Park. The park is a floodplain, but it's been working overtime as heavy rain and ice jams make river flooding pretty much a daily concern here right now. And then, Steph, the rain is still ongoing.
Yeah.
Pennsylvania all the way up to northern New England.
Yes, we're going to show you that in a second, but first let's show you the trail of snow that this thing has left. Anywhere from the Sierra, the Rockies, the Wasatch, all the way into the Midwest. That's where we really helped out some of our deficits. This is our two-day snowdle. Did you get that? That's a two-day.
A portmanteau, right? When you combine two words?
A snowdle. That is our snow total.
You are famous for that, and we should change it.
We should change it to
We're wasting
snowdle.
letters.
It's our Tuesday total and our Thursday total, our snowdle. And that's going to help us in places like Minneapolis, where we were 17 inches below average before this started. But, I mean, still, we're, half a foot below average. So what else did it bring? Not only snow, but ice has been tremendous, okay? This is Thursday through the day. Look at all the icing reports here from Wisconsin on into Michigan. And it's significant. And we're showing you what happened in the past because it's affecting you right now. Okay, look at that, 173,000 without power in Michigan. Now, here's the thing. That's just one house or business, okay? But if you have 4 people living in that one house, there could be many, many, many more people affected by the power outages. So that number is probably a lot lower than just the humans that are affected. Where's Lucian now? Well, it's here into the Northeast. This is our warm front. So anywhere south of that is our warm sector, and that's why we have the rain. This is our cold front. That's the leading edge of the cold air, and that's why behind it we have that lake effect snow that's coming on in. So let's show you what we're going to see through the day. Now, I think this rain, at least for New York down to D.C., will be out of here by lunchtime if you want to get out and stretch your legs. Boston, obviously, a little bit farther east, hangs around. But then lake effect snow comes in, and that's not all that comes in, guys. The wind's going to come in. Right now, I was checking no delays here through the Northeast because on the I-95 corridor, we don't really have that wind kicking in yet. But once this stuff swings in, I think we're going to get delays later, which is terrible, right? On a Friday night, so many people trying to travel, and Saturday morning. Because look at the gusts that are heading our way. Rochester, 52. Wow. 20, 30 mile, 40 mile an hour wind gusts with this thing. And you'll see that is all going to be shifting into the Northeast here as we head later in the day. And it does linger. Look at that until Saturday morning. So that first flight out is your best option, and then Sunday at least it is going to be clearing out. Now, Reynolds, it wasn't only Michigan that had problems with freezing rain.
Yeah, much of the region had something they had to deal with. And if you look at this, it was ice that crippled parts of Wisconsin yesterday during Winter Storm Lucian. Madison reported ice nearly 1/4 of an inch thick after freezing rain fell, and in nearby Brock County you had slick roads that caused nearly 24 accidents. At least those were the number reported. There may have been more accidents, actually. Wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. And the icy threat has ended, but now you still have something else to contend with. Sure enough, the snowy snow.
Yeah, the snowy snow.
That's right.
In case you missed it and you haven't been watching us every single minute all morning long, but you should, our weather producer called this snowy snow. It's
snowy snow.
And we're describing it that way. It's not a big deal event. It's a nuisance kind of event, but even a little bit of snow can cause issues out there. So you need to know about it. The snowy snow that we're going to get. Moisture comes back, yeah.
That wet rain also.
The rainy rain.
The rainy rain.
The rainy rain and the snowy snow. Yeah, this is what we're going to get. All right, this weekend, yeah, to the south, the rainy rain. To the north, cold enough to get some snow. And in fact, it's going to be easier this time for forecasting because we're not going to have a ton of precip type changes going on as far north as we did last time. Remember, last time we had Kansas City. Oh, you were in and out of the sleet, the freezing rain. I think it's more of either sleet or just plain old snow, and probably just plain old snow for you. St. Louis, you might be right on the edge. Indianapolis, you should be more in the wintry stuff. We had thunderstorms with this last system that came on through, but this case, it'll be just a light snow. Michigan, for you, this is going to be better because I think snow is better than the freezing rain mess that we had from the last system. And then snow coming in, light snow into Pennsylvania. It's very light, though. Even Philly could see some snow. And I know you look at your forecast, on your phone, you see, oh, there's snow coming. It's barely going to accumulate. And so that's in the mid-Atlantic. In the Midwest, we'll get about 1 to 3 kind of snowfall. Maybe not worth getting the snow blower out, but you probably have to shovel up your front steps to make sure they're not slippery. Temperatures are going to be below freezing and cold. We got temperatures on Sunday in Des Moines jumping up into the upper 20s, but then after the snow ends, we get cold again, back to the teens. Reynolds.
That's right. And we're going to be talking about something that's kind of unusual. It's going to sound weird. Lake effect snowfall in Salt Lake City.
Yeah, this is pretty cool.
Yeah, we had to go all the way west to west to take a look at that. Let's go ahead and show you. Great Salt Lake in Utah. You had the wind moving across, water and constant evaporation. This is what you saw. New this morning, the west side of the Salt Lake Valley got hammered, tattooed. In one day, in fact, they had 14.3 inches that fell in Tooele, which doubled up the old record that was set for the day back in 1986.
Probably be worse.
When life hands you snow, it's best to grab a shovel.
Yeah, I think we've had enough.
Sometimes, though, there just aren't enough shovels to keep up.
This snow on my grass was almost completely melted 2 days ago.
Nature simply dumped, burying an unsuspecting neighborhood west of Salt Lake City.
But by the time I woke up, there was at least 14 inches on the ground, and we've had at least 10 more.
Yeah, I'd say close to 2 feet.
Even the power of a mighty snowblower wasn't nearly powerful enough.
Oh, it's going to take me at least an hour.
It was a scene reminiscent of
hell.
Some neighbors turned to a higher power. Desperate times demand desperate measures.
We hardly ever plow up here. A lot of people take their four-wheelers or side-by-sides and do the road.
But a downhill driveway still proved to be an uphill battle.
Four-wheel drive would be nice. There we go. There's nowhere to put the snow. I mean, I feel bad because I push all the snow I can down here, but then I don't want any of the neighbors or passerbys to get stuck.
The snow started falling again before neighbors could get the job done.
I was hoping to, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen, so.
Life, it seems, has a way of piling on.
Just got to deal with it. You make do. It is what it is.
Now, those neighbors say they're getting used to the big snowstorms. And more snow headed that way from Winter Storm Maya, possibly up to another 5 inches of snowfall could be on the way. Let's send it back over to Jen.
Yeah, we're going to stay in the west, go to the Sierra right now, where heavy snow has raised the threat of avalanches. Listen to this, and you got to watch it, too. If I'm hearing wind like that, I'm inside, right? And these guys are out there in the elements carrying their skis. These are ski patrollers doing avalanche control work. This is near Donner Summit, where more than 3 feet of snow fell earlier this week, and the Sierra is about to get blasted again by Winter Storm Maya. We've been talking about this video all morning because we can't imagine why anyone would go out here, just to work, right? It looks so dangerous. But Steph, we're learning, like, you have to do this. You have to do this avalanche control. You got to get it safe so that when the resort does reopen, roads reopen, that we sort of know what you're dealing with.
But I mean, you don't want to, risk people's lives. But our brilliant and proactive executive producer, senior executive producer, like top dog, she messaged them, was like, I'd love to have them on the show to explain the process.
I would too. Yeah, and just how they prepare for something like that.
Right. I mean, so hopefully they'll respond. We hit them up on Instagram. If anyone knows those people, just happens to know those people that was watching, let us know. Give us the hookup, would you?
They should be watching because they need the weather more than anyone, right?
All right. So we're going to get it hard again here in the West. I mean, real hard. Places like Seattle. Places like the Sierra. And we have 2 little systems coming through. I know to the untrained eye, this looks like just an absolute mess. But where I circled, we have pieces of energy that are going to come through. There it is for you beautifully, on our graphics. And so the first one's a little weak. That second one is definitely stronger, but it's still not super organized. It's not like this nice compact low. It's kind of like strung out a little bit, but there's still enough energy. Don't get me wrong. But it's not like we have this perfectly compact, textbook thing coming in. But Seattle, I mean, my goodness, we're going to talk about you. I'm not going to steal Jen and Reynolds' thunders. They're going to cover that story. So I'm just supposed to do the overview for you here. It's just so exciting what's happening in Seattle since we just got all that snow. We're going to get another round. And Excuse me. Been a while for that one, too.
How does that happen?
How? We all have demo reels. She's got a demo reel of her sneezing.
It's unreal.
Actually true.
Yes,
it's true. It's on my Instagram and Twitter and Facebook if you want to see it. All right, so this is a Friday-Saturday event for us with the snow coming in, the rain coming in as well, the Sierra getting another 2 feet of snow. Just remarkable to show the drought monitor also from like January.
Hold on. Excuse
Thanks,
me.
Reynolds.
It matches. Here we go. Thank you.
Thanks.
There you go.
All
Good
right,
times.
what a gentleman. I'm telling you, this
Jeez
guy really
Louise.
is. So here we go with our snow. What's that?
Show. I thought the pocket square was for show.
Oh, this actual handkerchief. Yeah,
Real whole
this is a
deal.
good one there.
It's a real deal, guys.
Yeah, it's silk. It's actually quite nice, Reynolds.
you
Also,
go.
it's so Friday.
It's so Friday. We're so off the tracks. Reynolds, you think you can put us back on?
I hope so. I am the lead conductor of the Cuckoo Town Express. Let's go, guys. Choo-choo. Let's show you what happened in Seattle. The streets of Seattle were coated in snow earlier this week. Winter Storm Lucian dropping 2.7 inches of snow on the Emerald City. And now another round of winter weather. Maya putting the city under a winter storm warning this afternoon through Sunday. And Seattle, this is one of my favorite stories. Seattle is beating out some big East Coast cities when it comes to snowfall, Jen.
I know, if you like to root for the underdog.
Oh, yes.
And so many do, right? Seattle. Look, Boston wins everything. All the championships, all the games, everything. They win. But they're not winning in snowfall. Not this year. We've got 2.3 inches of snow in Boston for the season. Seattle, 2.7. And that actually, you know, compared to that was just at SeaTac. Compared to everyone else in the area, most got more. Most got like 5 to 8 inches of snow already in Seattle. And we're bringing in a second storm this week to give us more. So when we start adding up, where do we rank in terms of weekly snowfall events? We've actually had some big weeks in snow in Seattle history. You go back to the end of January in 1916, we had close to 40 inches of snow. It happens. It just doesn't happen very often. You look at these dates, there's nothing, you know, before, 1969 in that top list right there. So this is going to be a big deal, the fact that we've got another 4 to 8 inches of snow in the Seattle forecast. I think it's especially a big deal because of the timing. It's coming in today at rush hour. You know, any city, it doesn't matter how prepared or not you are for snowfall. When snow comes in at rush hour and temperatures are starting to go down, cooling down, you know, we're going to be dealing with some impacts. So overnight tonight especially, it gets tough because that's when temperatures drop to freezing. But once the snow starts accumulating, look, snow is ice. It's cold. It's going to start cooling down that road surface. The road temperatures will drop. Conditions will get slick and icy overnight tonight. Tomorrow morning, a different story out there. You will not be going out and driving around in the hills in Seattle. And we've got temperatures Saturday night going back down to the teens, Steph.
Yeah, and then it's all going to be shifting east, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about how it will affect you through the plains, the Midwest. The Hawkeye State, Iowa, has been blasted by a little bit of everything this week. We had Winter Storm Lucia, which brought snow, sleet, freezing rain, thunderstorms, and thunder sleet. How often do you get all of that in one felt swoop? Well, Reynolds, it's not going to be as cornucopia-ish with this next system.
Sure, that'll work. Absolutely. Hey, you're right. We could see some crazy stuff in terms of the snowfall and cornucopia-ish. Yeah, it won't be quite that way. We start with the snowflakes, and we should see them begin to move out as we get into Tuesday morning. Maybe by the time rush hour is over, you'll see it begin to lessen considerably. But what really comes in by the midday into the afternoon, evening, the colder air going down to around 2 degrees, single digits. So we have, Maya, we have it eagerly making its way to the east, and as it does so, snow begins to pile up. We're going to see it. Big sky country across the Dakotas, eventually going into parts of the northern plains and the upper Midwest, too. Now, for Des Moines and point south into Missouri yesterday was ridiculous with the kind of weather you had. You might see something, again, as Steph mentioned, not quite as cornucopia-ish, but you will have, you know, some variety, no doubt about it. Then we get into Tuesday and the Tuesday afternoon, the evening hours, and then it launches its way across parts of the central, northern Great Lakes, and colder air comes in right behind it. You're going to really feel that brutality. And then as we wrap it up very quickly, Monday through Tuesday night looks right like, say, from parts of Wisconsin clear through the Twin Cities and point south. That's going to be your heavy snowfall. Hey, Jen, your turn.
Yeah, well, 2 straight days of heavy rain was enough to cause widespread flooding in Indiana. And to make matters worse, a lot of that standing water is starting to freeze this morning as temperatures plummet. The temperature at the Indianapolis airport, get this, dropped 11 degrees in 11 minutes yesterday. Oh, and it won't be long before the rain returns to the Ohio Valley. But that's just rude when it comes to a temperature change, Steph.
It is, it is. And in the South, the good news with us is that we're not going to see significant temperature changes after this front goes through, but we are going to see a lot more rain. The last 7 days, 3 to 5 inches, 5+ inches for some of us here. And look at that. Sunday through Tuesday, yet more of the same. more rain in places that we don't need it. And this is our system that's coming across, and it's because we're obviously to the south and we're not getting this huge blast of cold air to come down. It's going to be more liquid than frozen stuff. A little bit of frozen stuff for us here on Sunday in places like Arkansas and Oklahoma, but overall on Monday for the south, especially the deep south, it's going to be rain and not snow and not ice. But boy, if that cold air got in, this could be quite the snowstorm in the south, right? I know, Jen's like, enough.
Not even
enough.
close.
We've had enough snow in the south. So Louisville, a little icy for you, but notice our temperatures. I mean, they're not going to be a huge fluctuation. It's going to be just 10 degrees on either side type of a thing. But we're all going to get that sunshine back midweek. So stormy to start us off, but then it definitely gets better. Coming up next, we have your travel forecast.
Sounds like outside. Oh my God. Oh! Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I hear ya. Branches falling from trees from the weight of ice from Winter Storm Lucian. This is in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Whoa! That was a close call. We're going to play this again. This is the first branch, but watch for the second branch.
Oh!
This is just from 0.4 of an inch, guys. This is why you go without power outages. Here it is. Wait for it. Here it is right here. Ready?
Yes!
That is scary. And so this is why, again, you know, that's just 0.4 of an inch of freezing rain. Not very much, right? This is why you have power outages. According to DTE, Power Twitter feed, over 37,000 customers were impacted by Lucian, which included high winds overnight. Actually, I think the number was, maybe it was just in Detroit, but all of Michigan, they had over 100,000 power outages. And you had frozen branches. Now look at this.
Oh, how cool.
Can you tell what that is, guys? Uh-huh. Frozen apple. The freezing rain coated the rotten apples, creating an icy shell around them and turning the apples into mush. These photos were captured in western Michigan in Kent County. They almost look clear. I would expect to see the color of the apple through it. I guess you can't. It's just that thick. Oh, there's no apple inside that one. Okay, thank you. I was like, yeah, because I don't see it. There's one inside that, though, I think. I don't know.
You know, weird observation. A few things in nature are as beautiful as an ice-covered tree, but simultaneously destructive.
Yeah.
So it's destructive and beautiful, kind of like my 5-year-old daughter.
But what's interesting, though, about yeah, we love her.
Yeah.
The ice actually, if you had fruit, it actually encases it, Reynolds, and will sometimes keep that fruit good. You know. But
I've heard that. Yes,
it's
an interesting thing how it can actually protect. Interesting stuff. Crazy things out there. Hey, ice has been an issue that we've had at airports, and certainly over the last couple of weeks, we've been talking about ice, planes sliding off runways, all kinds of problems. Could you have those problems again today? Well, it depends on where you happen to be, and I got to tell you, some locations it's going to be the easiest flight you've ever had. Other places could be bumpy as can be across parts of the Northeast with some of the strong winds. Steph was talking about that earlier. In Chicago, some backups are possible. Seattle, major backups due to some snow. I know you got to rub your eyes and think snow, Seattle. We're going to talk about that coming up. Boston, Logan could have problems, but Little Rock and Atlanta could not be better. Great conditions. Let's start with the roadways again. Let's make our way up to I-95 as we go from New York back into Boston, even into Portland and beyond. Winter Storm Lucia is moving up. It's spreading its wings. It's going to move on out. That's good news. For long as it drives off, but you got to remember that the exhaust of this system is still going to produce some scattered snow showers, some rain out there too, and it could be kind of troublesome for you from Burlington back into Albany, where the lakes aren't frozen. With some of the winds kicking up, you can see whitecaps. You could on Lake Champlain. Meanwhile, we roll forward into the late morning hours, into the midday, and into the afternoon, and we still see the snow coming through parts of the Tug Hill. Into Boston, New York, still balmy conditions, all things considered. Enjoy it while you can because changes are on the way. But let's talk about those changes. A bit of a whiplash, Stephanie.
Yeah, so we've already felt those changes in Nashville. Yesterday, 78 degrees, and today's high is only going to be 37.
Fropa.
We had a so better time the last hour. All right, can I get a Fropa?
Fropa, you just got one.
All right, for those of you who are just joining into the show and don't know what we're talking about, I want to let you in on our little thing that we have here. A fropa means frontal passage. That means a cold front comes through. So we like to shout it out when the front comes through. So can you find the front here? Can I get another fropa? There it is for you. It's Friday. We're still trying to get it together. There it is. That's that front coming through. And it's deceiving because a lot of these places, temperatures will be dropping through the day, you know, like Atlanta. Pretty warm out there right now, relatively speaking. But can you believe in 24 hours, Little Rock has dropped 50 degrees. That's essentially 2 degrees an hour for 24 hours. That is a collapse. That is
collapse.
That is
yeah.
true. That's
Really
a good call.
is.
Yeah, I think I would collapse. Just, you know, have temperature change. You walk outside, it's like, what happened?
The same in Nashville.
What happened?
Right? What happened? Chicago, I think that's from The Mighty Wind when she goes, what happened? It's a line from a movie. And I think it's The Mighty Wind or Best in Show. I can't remember which one. But she goes, what happened?
A faux pas.
Yeah, faux pas, that's what happened. All right, so let's have a look at Atlanta. Warmth the last several days, and then we drop. And what I think is so cute that our graphics artist did, so our average high is 55, but you love how they left 60 in blue, even though that's warmer than average. That's because relative to this, that is cool, Jen.
Yeah. Exactly. No, so yes, it's a shock to the system.
Wait, no or yes? I just got very confused there.
Exactly. I didn't actually know what you were asking me, but I tend to agree. It is so Friday.
So
it is
Friday.
so Friday. Dallas. I did want to point out Dallas. 23 degrees this morning. Dallas. Yeah, you guys have a shock to your system. This is your coldest air of the season. So, Dallas, along with everyone else, winter is fighting back. We had that warm up. You were in spring mode. You had spring fever. You even had hay fever because the allergies were coming, you know, were getting flared up across the southeast with the pollen coming back out. Now to the north, we've got more cold coming in. The wind chill warnings and alerts are up. We've got temperatures that are going well below zero. The feels like, and the temperatures themselves are below zero, but the feels like is even worse. This is when it gets dangerous. 43 below Bismarck, Minneapolis, 32 below. That's what it will feel like if you're outside. You know, no one's dog is going out for more than like a millisecond today, right? It's like go out, do your business, come back in. It's that kind of cold day that we're dealing with here. And it doesn't really improve throughout the day. It's going to feel at least like 20 below as we get through the afternoon and evening here, right across North Dakota, South Dakota, into Minnesota. That's where the core of the cold air will be. And as we get through the weekend, get ready. Temperatures below average into the south.
All right, it's time now to look at your top 3 weather stories. And we have the return of winter for some of us, but this is Lucian coming along the East Coast, and ahead of that, still very warm air. Behind it, much colder air. We really need a whole show about what happens during commercial breaks, guys. I'm sorry. I'm going to tell you in a second what I'm laughing about. Sunday, I want to get your big picture for those who want to get out the door and don't have time for our antics. A little bit of light snow for us here in the Midwest, and then our next big system comes into the west, and that one is going to track across the entire country. It's National Kite Day, and we're having this discussion that do you actually need wind in order to fly a kite? Now, I swear I saw something at some point in time that you don't really need the wind. If like, oh, you don't have to like run. It should just like pick up into the wind. A little bit of
That's
wind.
completely different than what you said.
You're right. I got confused. Anyhow, that's literally like after dark material.
Well, it is National Kite Day, so we'll give you the reason why we're talking about flying a kite on this Thursday in February. This morning, look, the wind is plenty strong to fly your kite. Yeah, it might actually be too strong. On this National Kite Flying Day, channel your inner kid, your inner Mary Poppins. In Rochester, New York, though, it might be too windy with winds gusting to 50+ miles per hour. All right, we've got wind alerts that are up. And in all seriousness, this wind could cause some damage. Worried about some tree limbs coming down. We've got winds that are going to be very gusty with the high wind warning up around Buffalo as well. Look at these winds. 40 to 50 miles per hour coming in off of Lake Erie, off of Lake Ontario. So, you know, especially if you're close to the lake, that wind coming in uninterrupted is really going to be strong and fierce. And strong winds blow into the northeast today. This is why we're worried about airport delays with winds 35 to 40 miles per hour by this evening in Boston, staying up overnight. Maine, I'm also worried about power outages. Winds 40 to 50 miles per hour. You know, it's one thing to just get like a thunderstorm with that kind of wind, but to have winds nonstop like that for hours is going to take a toll, Steph.
So Kim, our producer of the show, she just told me that you only need winds about 4 to 10 miles an hour to fly a kite. That's all you really need.
I would agree.
And light wind. So I changed my stance, Jen. You're right. What I learned was you don't actually have to go running. You know, like we were taught, you run down the beach for the kite to get up. You don't really have to do the run thing.
How do you get the kite going?
It should just go up. All right, someone tell us how this works on Twitter.
We need an offsite.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Saturday, Sunday, back to the weather maps, which you guys really tune in for, and not our confusing conversations that make no sense to half the people. We have this low pressure, okay? So Jen talked about Lucian's going to exit as we head through the day today. This is our next weather maker. Then we have another one in the west. Okay, so that's kind of how I can break them down for you. Number 1 is Lucian, 2 is this one, 3 is Maya, which will be the much bigger system in the west. So this little blip. The good news is it's coming in on the weekend, and it's not going to bring a ton of snow, but enough snow to play in and go outdoors and have it be somewhat enjoyable, right? So Des Moines, you're going to get it Saturday night, and then it's going to be making its way into the Midwest. By the way, Michigan, it's going to be snow, not ice for you like this last system was. And then it's going to be rolling eastbound into Sunday night. It gets into the Mid-Atlantic, where we actually could have a little bit of frozen precipitation, but it's all going to be super light. I mean, look at our totals, 1 to 3, really, for the bulk of us. Some of us may be getting a little bit more than that, which, happens with snow. Des Moines, you get it here, but notice we don't have a huge temperature drop, Jen, with this system, but we will with Maya.
There's barely a front coming through.
Yeah.
It's just sort of, general precip, very light. But then Maya comes in, and this is going to be a big deal starting today in the west. Get ready, Seattle. Snow showers start throughout the day. They pick up into the evening. Snow over the weekend spreading down through the Sierra. It's going to be, again, feet of snow in the Sierra. What a start to your water year. We're gonna show you some great comparing images coming up in the next block there. But let's look at Maya and track it as it comes from the northwest and then moves into the upper Midwest. So we have our moisture coming in from the Pacific, but the key is that system, I went through it too fast, but that system dropping down from the north. For Seattle to get snow, we've got to have cold air coming in from the north. If our air comes from the Pacific, it's too mild. And so we'll get that. And that's how we have this forecast of anywhere from 4 to, even 8 inches of snow in the Seattle area, but, about 4 to 5 in the metro area. Capitol Hill, you're thinking about going up there this weekend. Get where you need to be by this afternoon and then stay there so you can go outside and play and enjoy the snowfall this weekend in Seattle, because I think driving is going to be pretty difficult. Then when Maya moves out into the upper Midwest and northern plains by the early next week, this is Monday, snow starts to spread here into North and South Dakota. Nebraska gets snow this time into Iowa. We got snow into Des Moines coming your way. And Tuesday, Monday night into Tuesday is when it continues to move, dropping snow in Minnesota into Wisconsin, Chicago. Your forecast, do we start as rain and then finish as snow? That looks like the most likely case here, but we'll have to fine tune as we get closer into the event. What happens into the northeast? Because now we'll have some cold air in place setting the stage. So do we see a wintry mix or even some freezing rain? This is your Tuesday forecast here. So this could be an impact day, and we could get some light snow into Boston as well. But the bigger totals right now look like upper Midwest, a moderate accumulation at this point. Reynolds, what's coming up?
Well, don't put away your swimsuit just yet, just because the temperature drops. Escape the winter chill by taking a splash. Ahead on AMHQ, we have a great indoor water parks to get you through the season. Plus, look up, a reason why something lurking above could cause serious injuries down below.
Okay, so with winter more than half over, let's see where the snow has fallen and exactly how much. And I gotta say, it's been a pretty snowy season with the exception of places like New York, Boston, those major cities. But the South got the snow, and boy, are we getting crushed here in the West. So let's talk about the haves and the have-nots when it comes to the snow. And we're gonna talk about first Buffalo, New York. All right, we are 24.7 inches above average, our 10th snowiest start to the season, and that's how much we've seen, 91 inches of snow. Now, Caribou, Maine, a whopping 48.2 inches above average with a total of 114 inches, the second snowiest start to the season, okay? Then Marquette, Michigan gets even higher. Look at that, 130 inches of snow. Now, we're only 4.6 inches above average because we do average 204 inches here, and that's typical for the UP of Michigan.
Right. So how has this winter been? We were talking about the question, what's the state of the winter? There actually is an index that describes that. It's the Winter Severity Index. There's some call it the Winter Misery Index.
Yeah, that's true. So what are the factors here? Well, essentially, how much cold, how intense it is, how much snow, and how long it sticks around.
And cities are compared to themselves. It's always like you versus you. So Marquette is not compared to Dallas, right? So we know that Marquette gets more snow on average, and that's how this index is created. But you take a look at, we showed you the Northeast, we showed you the Midwest. We're going to zoom into the West, or the South, which jump to the south.
Yeah,
okay.
we're going to go to the south first. We're going to start you off. So in Raleigh, it's actually been average. Now, I know we got a lot of snow in the south, but you have to, there's other factors that come into play. So let's have a look at Raleigh's factors here and how much snow we've seen versus where we've been with the cold. So we're above average on the snow, about twice as much, but
it's been a very mild winter. December above average, January above average, and so it's all about the snow pushing you up into that category. All right, look at Nashville. I know this morning you wouldn't think your winter is mild because I know how cold it is compared to where it was yesterday, but you haven't had that bad of a winter in Nashville.
No, it hasn't. So again, let's look at our different factors here when it comes to the snow and the temperature. So again, snow is well below average and temperatures have been well above average.
Yeah,
so overall,
so
it's been
it really has not been a bad winter. A couple of cold snaps, yes. Salt Lake City, we are running a moderate winter here in Salt Lake City. Now, you know, we just had some recent snow, but when you look back at the winter, it's not been that snowy.
No, I mean, it's been below average on snowfall, though we're making up with it with Lucian, and then Maya's also going to probably bump us up above. But our temperatures have been on the warm side.
Yeah, just a smidge above average here, and that's all it takes to sort of nudge you in that direction on this winter severity index. Seattle, we've been talking so much about you this week because of the snow you had earlier, now the snow you're about to get. Moderate winter so far. It'll be interesting to see how this changes.
Yeah, I'm with you on that because look at the actual 2.7, but here's the problem. This is just at the airport. We saw 6, 7, 8, 9 inches up towards Everett, but this is just for Seattle proper, and it's been warm. So that's why it's mild. But, Jen, if we get 6 inches with this next one, then we might go
That could
higher.
really push it up. Now, you know who's had an epic winter has been the Sierra, and our snowfall here has been piling up. Take a look at where we are snowpack compared to average. You know, over 100%. We haven't seen this in years.
No, think about when you get an A on a test, it's 100%. Well, we're at 110%. Look at February 6th, the white there on the Sierra, in between Sacramento and Reno is where I want you to look.
This is last year, and then let's compare year over year. Look at the difference in snowpack. I mean, last year we were running below average. This year, where we are right now, we have already surpassed our peak of last year.
Yeah. And just to clarify, you know, these satellites pick up snow and clouds.
Right. So some of that's clouds.
Some of this is clouds, like what you see over the Pacific Ocean, that's cloud, guys. But in between Sacramento and Reno is where the Sierra are, and that is actual snowpack.
Yeah, so tremendous difference. Great for the water year. This parade of storms that we've seen recently has made a big difference. And will also, as we look ahead to the forecast, another couple of feet of snow coming our way.
Makes you want to go swimming, doesn't it, Reynolds?
As soon as that snow begins to pile up, a lot of people are crazy enough to take a dive. I mean, they're crazy enough to do something like this when it snows. Wow, slow-mo for you. And Yahtzee. A lot of powder there. But, you know, there may be a better way to make a splash when it comes to wintertime. We're talking indoor water parks. So let's bring in Molly Fergus from Trip Savvy joins us now. And Molly, I understand that you've got a water park for us in every region. And let's start from east and work our way to the west. Can we begin with Camelback Mountain in Pennsylvania?
Absolutely. So thanks for having me today. And at Trip Savvy, we love indoor water parks. It's such a great option for families or anyone who just really wants to warm up during the winter. So Camelback is a great example. You can actually kind of get 2 vacations for one here. It's in the Poconos in Pennsylvania. So you could go skiing all day and then you could warm up at night in Aquatopia. This is a huge water park. It was just built in 2015 and they have some great slides. I went on one there called the Skydive Plummet, and there's actually a platform beneath you and you get a countdown in your ear and then it just drops and you're just like falling vertically. So this is a really fun water park. It's great for adults and kids.
Okay, let's slide our way a little bit farther to the west. Let's make our way to Castaway Bay in Ohio. Tell us about that one.
Sure. So Castaway Bay is in Sandusky, Ohio. This is right near Cedar Point. So a lot of people know this region in the summertime for those roller coasters. But if you want to warm up and be inside, this is another great option for families. They have a really big wave pool there. There's a lot of special offers. So they have rooms that sleep up to 8 people. So if you're traveling with families or extended families, this is a great option for that big group trip. You can go for a weekend and just all kind of warm up together and have a good time.
Well, a lot of good options. I know one of the options may be in Wisconsin, the Dells.
Absolutely. So Wisconsin's are basic, you know, the Wisconsin Dells are the water park capital of the world, they call themselves, and that applies for every single season. This is really where the indoor water park craze began. And so one there is called the Wilderness Lodge, and this is great. It has a giant 70,000 square foot wave pool. This is the largest in the country. What's really nice about this is it's domed, so there's lots of natural light coming in, and you feel like you're outside, even though, maybe it's snowing like we just heard in Wisconsin.
Okay, super fast. We're losing time here. What about way out west? Was it Great Wolf Lodge in California?
Yes, Great Wolf Lodge is probably the chain you've heard of. If you've heard of indoor water parks, you're familiar with them. This one's in Anaheim. They have a location, and although, of course, it's warm there, what's really nice about this is that you can combine this with a trip to Disneyland or some of the other theme parks right nearby. So you can have the water park in the evening, theme parks during the day. Everyone's going to be really happy and then get a really good night's sleep because you'll be exhausted.
No doubt about it. That's half the game. All right, Molly Fergus from Trip Savvy, thanks so much for joining us this morning. Okay, folks, so we've got so much more coming up. Let's take a look at Atlanta, Georgia for a moment. We had a record high of 80 degrees yesterday. I mean, it was just spectacular. But you know what? That warm air is moving out of town like it owes us money. It really is. It's going to be going, and the temperatures are going to be crashing for today. And that's not the only spot in America where we're going to see a bit of a difference. Look at that. That's what we had. You see it in orange, but the future, a bit cooler. Sunday, the high, only 44.
Down off this building in Wisconsin. Thanks goodness nobody was under that awning there. You probably want to stay really far away from that. It must have just started melting a little bit and started flying off. A little momentum can get the whole thing going, right? Ice or icicles that are on a building, they can be as sharp, really sharp, cut you, cause serious injuries, the whole 9 yards. So stay away from anything like that. So let's have a look at where we are going to see frozen stuff, not in that form, but snow as we look through tomorrow through Sunday. And 1 to 3 inches, that is what we are going to get right smack dab here in the heart of the Midwest for us. And it's all from our little system. This is not Maya. You see, we have what's left of our system we've been dealing with all week here along the East Coast, Lucian. This is Lucian, okay? And then this is system number 2, and then Maya is in the west, system number 3. Jen's going to pick up that story. So that's our whole winter weather update. Otherwise, the northern tier, you get the snow. We don't get it into the south. And there's not, you know, super duper frigid, insane cold air. With this, there's cold enough air, and it's not going to get south behind this system. Different story with Maya, but with this system, it all kind of stays right where it should be, if you will, for this time of year. Rain down in the south for us, and it pulls through on a weekend, so people can play in it. It's not as much of a headache to clean up and that sort of thing. Indianapolis, a rain-snow mix for you Sunday, then Sunday night. That's when we get some of that frozen stuff. And then Des Moines, it's all snow for us, but clears out by Sunday night. Notice temperatures, you know, in the teens. It's not going to be dropping significantly below this. But Jen, different story behind Maya.
Yes, there's more cold coming in with Maya. But Maya, because of where it's coming from, where the energy is coming from, where the cold air is coming from, we're going to get some snow in Seattle yet again. Get ready. This afternoon it comes in. So we've got our system in the west. The general pattern in the west is important. We've got this big dip in our jet stream here. And so with that, the system, the energy coming in, bringing in the moisture, but there's also this key strong system diving down from Canada, going from north to south. And you need to have those winds from the north, bringing air from the north to the south here to really get enough cold air, enough deep layer cold air to get significant snow in Seattle. And that's why this is your forecast. 4 to 8 inches of snow across the area, a large region in Washington and Oregon that will see accumulating snowfall. It moves down into California as we get over the weekend, the Sierra, Nevada, Idaho. We all get into the snow by the end of the weekend. But for today, it all begins in Washington State, and then tonight it spreads down into Oregon. We're going to see that happen as we get into your Saturday evening. Portland has some snow chances coming your way. We've got snow spreading down towards Reno and Lake Tahoe, and of course the Wasatch will be piling up more snow for you there. Salt Lake City gets in on the snow, and snow swinging through parts of Idaho, getting back into Montana and Wyoming again. We'll get some snow around Jackson Hole. So your snowy scene isn't going to change at all. We'll just keep adding to it. So here we go with the alerts. So we've got winter storm warnings up. That's the darkest blue that we have. That does include Seattle. It's not too often that you've got Seattle under winter storm warning and the Cascades, right? We talk about the mountain areas here in the Northwest often going under those warnings, but now we're talking about all the way down here to City Street to be dealing with snow cover. This tracks east. It's going to be another cross-country weather maker, and so by Monday, we're going to watch all the energy start ejecting out into the northern plains. That's where the next round of snow comes in, and we see that into South and North Dakota, into Nebraska, into Iowa. There will be a rain-snow line. There will be an area of a mix, and freezing rain and sleet is again going to be something that we have to talk about here, watching that maybe in Chicago. Look, I think it's really too soon to say exactly what you're going to get because we're still a couple of days out, and we got to see how the cold air pans out, where the where the disturbance itself tracks specifically. But Chicago, I think, more notably, you'll probably finish with a little bit of snow. The bigger stuff up into Minnesota, into Wisconsin, as where we'll have some bigger snow totals coming on in. And then it all swings out, again, swinging up into Canada. Snow totals here, we're too early to give you numbers, but we'll tell you that a moderate accumulation is expected. So not your biggest snowfall, but certainly it'll be plowable, the kind that you're going to have some impact with. Travel will be affected. Madison, Wisconsin, it comes in Monday night. Tuesday is the day where we got snow falling throughout the day with temperatures right at about 32 degrees. And then the colder air comes back in on Tuesday night with still a few lingering snow showers. Sioux Falls, same thing. You can see how snow falling with temperatures in the 20s, then we drop below zero. Reynolds.
Okay, Jen, thanks so much. So we tried escaping winter this week, but Mother Nature was bored with the warmth and decided to whip the cold and snow back into the forecast.
Number one.
Number
I feel like we
one.
need a drum roll.
Yeah, I know. Drum roll,
for number
please.
one.
Who is just giddy over this weather we've had in the southeast?
Okay, Jen, let's not get carried away here.
Listen to Steph.
Not too cold for you guys? See that? Perfect. I heard perfect come out of one of those guys' mouths there. Some people are like, it's winter, Abrams. I want the snow. I'm bored with you on board with you. Did I just say on board with you?
Yeah,
Sorry.
you did.
You guys loving this or what?
Shout out to our meteorologists.
Yeah.
I'm about 6 inches, or 6 feet, not 6 inches. Compare that to the snowiest city so far.
Unless it's like Kenny Chesney or Toby Keith, don't ask me to reference a song.
Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen.
You get marshmallows, right? They just kind of roast them over here. Look at it. It's going to be a story of Bumposaurus in the skies above. Keep you hot, hot, cold, cold. You want to take the forecast, put it in a bottle, enjoy it, take a sip, put the cork back on, and sit it on the shelf. That's how I play with my kids in the school. We have people that come over from the Marine Center, and they grab my kids, throw them in the pool to me.
Jen can whip pretty good. Check this out.
Well, you need the music. You can't just do the whip and nay without the music.
That was so good, Jen.
That was really good. That was really good.
Even without the music. Now, but can you floss is the next question.
Oh, I can floss. Yeah.
There you go.
My
Guys,
kids gave me flossing lessons.
there you go. It's a great time, guys. We learned about snowy snow. We learned about yes,
Rainy
no.
rain.
We learned about, rainy rain.
Have a good weekend.